Okay, I'm live. You live?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, let's jump in. Week 3 recap. Week 3 in the bag. So I guess first thing, let's congratulate our Week 3 high score, which was Ashley for the second time this season. Only 3 weeks, she's gotten it twice.
Crazy.
Funny enough, Jimmy was the second highest score this week, and he won last week. So right now, the two of them are sitting out in first and second in terms of points scored. Ashley scored 478 on the season. Jimmy has scored 474, so they're kind of neck and neck as far as points
Ooh,
go.
that's crazy.
Both their teams are clearly very good. I'm looking at the leaderboards right now. James is in first. He and I are the only undefeated team still, but he's got about 30 more points than me scored, so he's got number one position right now. It's me, and then it's Ashley, Shannon. Kate dropped down to fifth place this week with her first loss, um, simply because she doesn't have that many points scored. So as soon as she took that first loss, she kind of dropped down below some of the other teams. Then it's Henry, then it's you, Scott, Melissa, Justin, Chris, and JT at the very bottom. Chris and JT are still winless on the season, but it's early, 0-3. You can come back from that, no problem.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, definitely. So interesting enough, we got some solid teams already. Definitely some not so good teams, but still plenty of time to turn around. So let's jump in here. Let's talk actually about Ashley and Kate's game first. All right, so jumping in here, another good game from Tom Brady. Yeah, 430 passing yards. Holy crap!
Yeah,
Only two
crazy.
touchdowns, but man, that's a ton of yards. Uh, they didn't win this game either, so
Nope.
you know, win some, you lose some. Tom. DeAndre Hopkins only 5 points. Super disappointing, but apparently they did not need him in this game. He was also banged up. I think a rib injury. I think
Yep.
one of the many rib
Yep.
injuries on the season so far. So no big deal. DJ Moore, he's crushing this season, man. We talked about
Yep.
this. We both wish we had a share of DJ Moore, but we don't. But he's killing it down in Carolina. So Sam Darnold loves him. 126 yards, 12 targets in this game, 11 targets last week. Gotta love that. He was really good 2 seasons ago. I had him in a league, and I loved him. And then he was disappointing last year
Yeah.
with Teddy Bridgewater
Bridgewater.
there. But you know, he's having a resurgence this season for sure. So Kamara, good game. 90 yards, touchdown. Um, he had 3 catches. I'm not sure how many receiving yards. Maybe not many because it doesn't tell me. Robinson finally had a good game. What do you think about this?
Oh, well, we have him in a different league, and oh my, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
Tw-
very very good to see him actually like being used and
The way he was last year.
yeah, exactly. So hopefully you see more of that. Clearly he's the best running back on the
I think we
team.
do.
Yeah, I mean I think you need to lean on him a little bit. Trevor Lawrence can't get it done by himself, so they got
God
to give it
no.
to more. George Kittle, first good game we've seen from him, almost 100 yards, 7 catches, no touchdowns, but he got 17 points. So we have him in the other league, so it's good to see him finally have a good game.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
Chase
we said
Edmonds.
before, they needed to be down for them to throw the ball, and that's exactly
Mhm.
when he did good.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I think this was a down game for Debo, so it's kind of weird. It seems like only one guy can kind of shine a week in San Fran.
Well,
And
Debo had 10 targets.
what was his stat line? I guess we'll see that eventually. But
It
I
was
know he
yeah, we'll
wasn't as
see.
good as weeks
Wasn't
one and
it
two, but
was not good.
it definitely helped Kittle a little bit. Chase Edmonds, kind of had an okay game. He's been pretty consistent. 14 points week
PPR.
one, 13 points, 14 points. Like, he's a solid RB2. You can't hate that. Brandon Cooks is killing it too. I mean, this is a guy that
Yeah.
like he like was barely on my radar in the draft. I mean, I
Yep.
he had the big name and stuff, but it's like he's on a terrible team, terrible quarterback. And here he is. He's like wide receiver 4 or 5 on the season. He's put up 20 plus points every week. 11 targets this week. We figured with the backup quarterback behind Tyrod, who's technically really a third string, right? Because you figured Deshaun Watson's first, and then it's
Yeah.
Tyrod. Now it's down to Davis Mills and Brandon Cook still just balling out. I mean, he's the only one really there to catch the ball, so I guess that's not too surprising. But let's talk about. Let's see. I should check our bench real quick. She had Zach Moss went off again. Jacoby Myers had a good game. Um, wouldn't have started those guys.
Nope.
All right, let's talk about Kate's team here. So this was Kate's first loss. Definitely a down week for her. 105 points. That is nothing to be happy about there. Russell Wilson with kind of a boring day. Yeah, 300 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yep.
You know, pretty middling. Amari Cooper, the pass catching options were not needed in that game last night. I watched a little bit of it, and it was definitely Zeke and Pollard. I mean, they were just running all over the Eagles. So, in a game where they scored 41 points, Cooper and CD really did nothing. And that was because I think Dak only threw like 27 times, and it was just
Just
didn't
run.
need Cooper. Yep. Um, let's see. Juju was definitely a poo poo doo doo Schuster day. Yeah, he got hurt in this game. I think.
He did.
I think he was out for part of
His
it.
ribs.
Yeah, ribs. That's right. He was on a rib injury.
A big problem with that is Big Ben looks terrible.
Yeah, he does. Did you
Just
see the play where he
the
threw the
Najee.
ball and then he tripped? Not even the
Oh
Najee one.
no,
Just like
not that
I
one.
don't even know who he was throwing the ball to, but he throws it. Nobody's around him. There's nobody around. He trips on nothing. There's no players within like 5 yards of him. He just trips it. He just hits the ground so hard. It just looks like a. He just looks like me if I were out there. You know what I mean? Like just like a big fat dumb dude just trying to play football.
Yeah.
Like he just looks so bad, and it's like it's a shame because he's been in the Super Bowl twice, right? I think he's only won one Super Bowl or two. I'm not sure. He's been in two. I
I
think it
think
was.
he's won two.
I think he's won two as well. So like this is
He's
the
going to the
guy.
Hall of Fame.
Oh, for sure, he's phenomenal. But it's comical watching him play now. He's
Yeah.
so bad. But
He's done.
yeah, and unfortunately, that's not good for Juju. It's not good for Claypool. It's
Nope.
great for
None
Najee,
of them.
as we'll talk about later. But anyways, we'll move on from Juju. Barkley. This was a game. I think we called it in the previews. That this was a game where Saquon was likely to kind of finally have a good matchup, and he did.
Yeah.
Touchdown, 50 rushing yards. I'm not sure how many receiving yards he
Like
had,
five
but
or
he had six
six.
catches. He had 6 catches, so I just don't know how many yards he got. But he had a
Yeah.
21-point game.
I
You're
think it
gonna
was 50
50. Okay,
something.
yeah, probably that math probably sounds about right. Um, he's got some tough games coming up. They play New Orleans and then the Rams and Carolina, so um, he's gonna have down games. But this was promising. It was good to see Saquon have a game like this where he was also in 80% of the snaps. So
Yep.
it's good to see him back. Devin Singletary. This is kind of what I expect of Devin Singletary. This is more in line with the Devin Singletary I know, as opposed to the Devin Singletary that Kate got weeks 1 and 2. Um, it was Zach Moss, and even then it was like, Zach Moss had a good game, but I still wouldn't want to start Zach Moss either. So they go hot hand in a game where they scored 43 points. Singletary had 3.6. So
Yep.
that's just what I expect of the Buffalo running backs. Travis Kelce, another 20-point game.
Gross.
I heard a stat, something like he's had the most 20-point fantasy games of like any player ever. It's just
I
like
believe it.
the number of consecutive games he's had is like unreal. I don't know how many. It's like 20
He's,
games or something like that. Just 20, 20, 20,
he's the
20, 20.
floor of the offense.
He is. He is. I mean, when Tyreek's having a bad day, Kels won't. I think I even text you, or maybe we were talking about it. Yeah, we were talking about during the Ravens game. He went into the half with like, or there was 2 minutes before the half with like 1 point, 2 points or something. And then by halftime, I guess was the final drive of the first half, he was at 10 points. So like,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. Jalen Waddle had a good game. Man, the rookie wide receivers are really kind of balling out this season. Devonta Smith not so much this week, but like Jalen Waddle and help me out, Chad. What's the other one I'm forgetting?
Jamar Chase.
Yes, Jamar Chase. Like they're having great seasons so far.
Yeah.
They're just he had 12 receptions in this game, 13 targets. Like that's awesome. Um, so good for the rookies. Being a rookie wide receiver in the league is not easy.
Nope.
Zach Pascal, I'm not too surprised about this. Even with Carson Wentz playing, I'm really not surprised. You can't really trust any of his receivers. Pittman, maybe. Pittman's starting to warm up as kind of the guy, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't slot any of them in really. I would have played Galladay. I think we said that before over Pascal, and it would have worked out a little bit better, but it wouldn't have saved her anyways.
Nope.
So looking at her bench, yeah, Galladay had an okay game. Sterling Shepard got hurt in this game, I think, or was that last week? I think it was this week.
Who?
Right? Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, it was this game.
Yeah, so that might bode well for Galladay in the future. We'll see. But anyways, okay, let's move on to the next matchup. So congratulations, Ashley, for your second high score. Doesn't really mean much. We have the same bank account, so money kind of just stays with us. But
Yep.
anyways, congrats. All right, let's move on. Talk about Justin and Henry. Ooh, low scoring matchup here. Henry won 123 to 106 for Justin. I saw Justin like cleaned house on his roster earlier. I just got like 7 notifications on Yahoo that said he dropped like half his
Did he
team.
really?
Yep. Nobody like important, but he just cleaned house on his bench. So Aaron Rodgers had a okay game. You don't hate 23 points from your
Nope.
quarterback. Diggs has been kind of disappointing in a game where they scored 43 points. You expect more. He had 10 targets, but only 6 for 62. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a Cole Beasley day. Mike Evans had another good game. That's 2 in a row for Mike Evans. It's like phenomenal. Usually
Helps
it's like
AB wasn't there
yeah,
with
yeah, that's
COVID.
that's true. Yeah, one less receiver on the field probably did help Evans. Aaron Jones came back down to earth after his 4 touchdown game last week, but he still had a touchdown, 82 rushing yards, and a couple catches. So no big deal there. Miles Sanders, I believe he rushed twice in this game. Yeah, he rushed twice and then had 3 catches. He rushed twice. The
Yep.
running back I think I saw or heard a stat that um, they had 3 rushing attempts in this game, like total amongst all
Something like
players,
that. It was.
which was like the
Yeah.
lowest or like the second fewest carries in like all of NFL history, going back to like
Yeah.
1908. You
Probably.
know what I mean? Like it was some astronomical stat. I mean, how do you? They looked terrible. I watched part of the game last night. They really looked.
They did.
They couldn't do anything. Miles Sanders, he carried the ball twice for 27 yards. That's like a 13 and a half point, 13 and a half yard per carry average.
Yep.
Why do you not give the ball to Miles Sanders more? Like Jalen Hurts clearly couldn't get it moving in the passing game, so run the ball. Like I don't understand. Whatever. It just seems dumb to me.
Wish I knew.
Yep. Gronk got hurt in this game, but he still got you 10 points. Well, by you I mean Justin.
Yeah.
Tyson Williams, disappointing game. Ravens running backs kind of look terrible. They just didn't run the ball much either, but they were using a lot of Devonta Freeman. They were using a lot of Latavius Murray and not using a lot of Tyson Williams.
Nope.
I think I saw a stat though that he still had the most rushing yards. Tyson did, despite like maybe even the fewest carries of the 3 running backs. But
If we caught some of those touchdowns and got a lead,
yeah,
probably would have
right. That's true. Could have.
kept running.
Yep, that's a good point. Devontae Parker, 4 catches, 42 yards. Okay, that's fine. Let's see who was on his bench. Emmanuel Sanders had a good game. Had a really good game here.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, 100 yards, 5 catches. There was all the
And-
Buffalo points right there. Sanders, two
Yep.
touchdowns. Moss had a couple touchdowns, or at least one. So, that's why Diggs and everybody else had a crappy day. James Conner with another 2 touchdowns, or maybe his first 2 touchdowns of the season. So good for you, James Conner. Still a bum. All right, let's
Yep.
talk about Henry's team here. The winner of this matchup, Teddy Bridgewater, disappointed, but they leaned on the running backs in this game, so it is what it is. It's definitely Melvin Gordon, Javante Day. Keenan Allen had a good game. You're 19 points. He was 8 catches, a touchdown, only 50 yards, but you know you're not upset about 19 points. Mike Williams is really going crazy though, huh? Like,
He's on fire.
yeah, who would have thought? Uh, I mean, Mike Williams is talented. I've targeted him in years past, but he always gets injured.
Yep.
So
That was the problem.
yeah,
He's
but
never healthy.
if he can stay healthy, man, he might be the one on that team. Chris Godwin, kind of just like Mike Evans, had a great game. You're happy with your 20 points there. McCaffrey, this sucks. He got hurt. They did not put him on IR though, so it's kind of a good sign. He'll probably be back in a week or two, but you gotta wonder, are they going to start limiting his usage a little bit? I mean, this is the second season now where he's had some sort of injury that's sidelined him.
That was a pretty fluky one though. The way he was.
Yeah, because he didn't get touched. It was non-contact, but those are
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Good news is he'll be back, but hopefully it's not like last season where I don't know if you remember because we didn't have McCaffrey, but um, he's just like they kept saying, "Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back." Now he's trending upwards. He'll be back. He'll be back. And then he like never was. Right? He played
Yep.
3 games. So let's hope it doesn't turn into that. Clyde finally had a bounce back game. 20 points here. Hit 100 yards, a touchdown, a couple catches. Um, finally some life out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So
Yeah.
Higbee, not too bad. 5 catches, 40 yards, touchdown. I like Higbee this season. He was disappointing week 2, but um, he's been a good tight end in years past, and he's one of the main kind of pass catchers on that offense now behind Cooper Kupp. So especially in end zone. I can't hate that.
Yep.
Devonta Smith, we talked about this. Eagles had just a crappy day all around, so take that with a grain of salt. Alexander Madison, 26 points here. Solid fill in for
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook. Can't hate that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Um, it's good to see this too because there was times I think last season when like Dalvin was out for a week and you started Madison and it was just like
He did
Madison just
nothing.
disappointed. Yeah, so it's good to see him actually fill that role this time pretty well. Let's see. Henry left Kareem Hunt on his
Kareem Hunt.
bench. I don't blame him. I think I would have. I don't think I would have started him over anybody in his lineup either. So, um, that was probably just a fluky missed start there. But either way, he still won. So congrats, Henry. There. Let's
Yep.
move on and talk about Melissa versus Chris. Melissa won 125 to 113. Another low scoring game here. Um, Kyler Murray, 23 points. It just is kind of a after scoring 42 and 49 points weeks 1 and 2. This was an outlier for him, but you're still happy with that from your quarterback, 23 points. So it didn't need to rush for much, didn't need to pass a whole lot to beat Jax. So they're all good. Tyreek down game. It's kind of a funky game against the Chargers there. Tyreek's kind of back to like what he used to be, where he was sort of like boom or
Yeah.
bust. Last season he was super consistent, right? He was like
Yeah.
Devontae. He would get you 20 plus points every week. But now we've got 2 back-to-back weeks of single-digit games, so it's a little scary from Tyreek. But I'm not concerned about him. He'll have his weeks. He'll have his weeks where he wins you the week,
Yep.
which is important. Cortland Sutton. We kind of talked about this when we talked about Teddy a little bit. They leaned on the running backs, so Cortland Sutton not needed in this game. Noah Fant not needed in this game. KJ Hamler I think got hurt. Tim Patrick. I think had an okay game, but for the most
He did
part,
good.
the receiving weapons were not needed. All right, Najee Harris. This was crazy. He had 19 targets in this game.
Mhm.
19 freaking targets. Like that's so many targets for running back, and that's probably because Deontay was out, Juju went out, Claypool got banged up at some point, so Ben was just chucking down to Najee like all freaking game. 14 receptions. It's crazy. That's 14 points in PPR. Like, boom, 14
Yep.
points. Just add 14 points. Doesn't matter what kind of yardage you get. 14 points right there. Um, that usage is awesome. You love to see it. I mean, he had 14 rush attempts on top of 19 targets. Like,
Yep.
that's great. Trending upwards. Gotta love Najee. Ronald Jones basically droppable at this point. Would you
Oh,
roster?
100%.
No, yeah, I mean,
Nope.
like, I don't.
If there, if, if there's someone better to pick up, you're dropping Rojo without a
I think I would
question.
pick up an old turd at this point and roster it before I rostered
Arya's
Ronald
turd.
Jones. I would pick up Arya's turd and roster that over
Yeah.
Ronald Jones. I mean, he's just like
So bad.
it's just all of those Tampa. I think I say it every week. The Tampa Bay running backs are like borderline worthless. I mean, every week one of them will be valuable. They'll put up like 10 points, right? I think Gio had like 18
I think
this week, but
Fournette week 1
yep, it was a Fournette week, and then I don't think it's been a Ronald Jones week yet, and it may never be
ever.
at this point.
Yep.
I think he's probably done. He's got Gio to compete with Fournette. Like it's just, I don't know. I just whatever. I don't even like talking about him because he's just worthless. Kyle Pitts, disappointing game from Kyle Pitts, but you know, not too concerned. His usage is pretty good. Only 3 targets in this game, but I wouldn't be worried. Jamar Chase, another great game. Only 5 targets,
Crazy.
but 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's got 4 touchdowns overall on the season. I think I saw that he has more touchdowns than all the other rookie wide receivers combined,
Yep.
which is
I believe it.
awesome. You're happy with that? Kind of
The
makes that
value.
Bengals, first round pick sort of seem justified
Yeah.
now, right?
Aren't they 3-0? Or are they 2-1?
Oh
Two
my
and
god,
one.
could you imagine them being 3-0? Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't look too bad.
Nope.
Cole Beasley, here was the him and Sanders were kind of the guys for Buffalo. I think they scored the most points on that
I
team.
hate them both.
Man, 13 targets, 11 catches for almost 100 yards for Cole Beasley. So great game there. Target machine, PPR guy, Cole Beasley. Looking at the bench, Zach Ertz had a decent game. AJ Green had a pretty good game. 5 catches for 112 yards. It's kind of cool to see. Good job, AJ Green. Let's look at Chris's team here. Chris only put up 113 points, but Mahomes had a good game. Wow, Mahomes rushed for 45 yards. Good for you. 3 touchdowns. Mahomes had a Mahomes day.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk finally had like a after week 1 where he basically did nothing. He may have been like a healthy scratch. I don't remember at this point. Week 2 he came out and he did nothing, and now week 3 he's back. He got a touchdown, couple catches, half a dozen targets. That's good to see because Brandon Ayuk was like a fifth or sixth round draft pick this year. So you kind of expected something more like this from Ayuk
Yeah.
as opposed to weeks 1 and 2. Chark, okay, Chark had an okay game. Um, do you trust any of the Jacksonville receivers?
I like. Well, we have Marvin Jones in the one league, or I
Mm,
might have started in the last league. I don't know, but I like him more than DJ Chark. I think Chark
yeah.
is just so touchdown dependent.
Yep, I agree. I'd rather, if I had to pick any of these three, the three being Chark, Chenault, and Marvin Jones, it would definitely be Marvin Jones. Um, I just Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good. The team doesn't look good. Maybe
No,
once they start clicking, Chark might be more valuable, but not right now. Joe Mixon, after like a really good week 1 in which he was the RB1, he's really disappointed these past 2 weeks. The volume is still there, which is what we said was always important for Mixon was the volume. He had 18 rushes in this game. I don't know how many targets, but only one catch. You figure he probably had at least 20 opportunities in this game, though. So,
Mike. Someone speculated that they limited his workload or did less because they played Thursday.
okay.
So maybe they were saving some of him for that.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh is, might be a shitty offense, but they still have a phenomenal defense, so that could be part of it as well. Just shutting down the run game. But,
Well, they played Jacksonville, so maybe they just want him to run all over them, which he probably will.
he probably will. That's the team to do it against. So, let's see. I think they got Jacksonville, Green Bay, Detroit. So those are pretty decent matchups coming up for them, for Mixon too. Carson had a decent game. Carson's got like a great floor of like 15ish points. Like you'll
Yep,
get the occasional blow up game from him, but he'll just be consistent. So
when healthy.
yep, when healthy, and so far so good. Tanyan, disappointing game, but
I
he's
hate
touchdown
Tanyan.
dependent. Yeah, that's what he was. I mean, last year he just kept catching touchdowns last season. That's why he was like number 3 overall. This season he has 1 touchdown. So
Because Rogers doesn't look at him at all besides red zone, and it's so
yeah,
irritating.
yeah. I mean, honestly, he's got 4 targets week 1, 3 targets last week, 1 target this week. So he's just it's
I hate
Devontae Adams. Like
Devontae.
it's Devontae Adams. Like that's the only person that matters. Jamal Williams had a decent game, 15 points against Baltimore. In a game that Baltimore should probably not have won, but we did.
You mean
12.
Jamal?
Oh, what I say?
Javante. I
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jamal Williams. Yep.
was gonna say we didn't play
Detroit running
Detroit.
back. Yeah, sorry.
Denver.
Denver. Yeah. You know, he looked pretty good, honestly, out there. So I think Swift looks better, but Jamal still looks pretty good. Rondale Moore, disappointing game after 2 solid weeks. He's just not being used much. Christian Kirk, AJ Green, they all have higher snap counts than Rondale Moore, but I expect he'll trend back up as the season goes. Let's see here. Anybody on his bench? Tim Patrick, we talked about briefly. He had a pretty good game, 100 yards and 5 catches. Dawson Knox with a touchdown. Otherwise, nobody of note down there. All right, so Chris is one of our only 0-3 people. But I think he's got a decent enough team. I think he should be able to pull out some wins. He's just kind of been having some bad luck here.
Yeah.
He'll get his win eventually. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about. I have James and Scott. So this is one of the higher scoring matchups. It was 162 to 140 for Scott. So unfortunately, Scott would have probably beat a number of people this week, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
he would have beat a lot of people this week. But fortunately, it did not work out for him. He played Jimmy, who balled out with Lamar, only getting 22. Lamar, how many points would Lamar have if Hollywood caught like 3 important passes?
40.
Yeah, 40 probably. Honestly, probably another 40 points. Maybe even more if Hollywood had caught those touchdowns that he should have caught.
So infuriating.
Yeah, that was. This game should not have been as close as it was. We should have been blowing them out by halftime, but it is what it is. Justin Jefferson with his bounce back week here. Somebody noted that week 3 of last year was when he broke out, and week 3 of this season is when he finally got back on track. So
So weird.
welcome back, Justin
coincidence.
Jefferson. Yeah, weird indeed. Julio Jones. What happened to Julio in this game? Because with AJ Brown going down, I expected more. Do you know?
All I saw was that Rabel said load management, whatever that means.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I have no clue what that means.
That's a scary phrase, is what that means, basically. You don't want to hear that, especially about a guy like Julio, who's like perpetually injured at this point. Like load management just means he's kind of banged up. Let's just not give
Yeah.
him a ton of work, which you don't want to hear. Derrick Henry, 22 points. Let's see. Oh man, only 28 carries in this game. What a bum. I think he still had like 3 targets, so he had 31 opportunities. Like that's
He had three
phenomenal.
catches. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 catches. So 31 opportunities. You cannot hate that. I mean, that's phenomenal usage.
Nope.
Melvin Gordon talked about had a pretty good game. Touchdown, 80 yards. Happy with that. Darren Waller, 5 catches, 54 yards, 7 targets. He's definitely come back down to earth after week 1.
Yeah.
Um, I expect better things from him going forward. But Mike Williams, there we go. Talked about this earlier. 36 points,
Gross.
2 touchdowns, 7 catches, 122 yards. Like that's good for you, Mike Williams. Welcome back. I think
Yeah.
he's top 5 receiver right now on the season.
Oh yeah.
Up there with like I think
Cooper
Lockett's up
Cup.
there. Cooper Cup's definitely #1.
I
Devontae's
don't know.
probably up
Is Lockett
there.
still up there
He
after
might
this
not be
week?
after this week. He might not be. He had a couple really good weeks though, so yeah, I have to see. Sammy Watkins, wow, 11 points for Sammy. And he had a touchdown that he dropped, so that could have been even better. It was a long touchdown too. Sammy could be looking at like 20 points this week if he catches that touchdown. What a
Yep.
bold move, James. Playing Sammy Watkins. Man, who do you have on his bench? Oh, I definitely would have played Odell over Sammy. No question about it. Even, week 1 back, I would have played Odell over Sammy. But you know what? It worked out. They still won. Didn't matter. Hunter Renfro. Wow, look at that. 18 points down there. I guess those are where the points came from for Vegas in this game.
Yeah.
Look, Jalen Hurts had a better game than Lamar. How about that? Hmm. James keeps like
Shocking.
making the wrong choice. Like last week, he played Hurts over Jackson, and Jackson went off. And this week, he played Jackson over Hurts, and Hurts had the better game. But again, Jackson should have had the better game. We can blame that on
Yeah.
Hollywood. Josh Allen balled. How about this? 48 points, 5 touchdowns,
Hate it.
350 yards. That's awesome. Good for you, Josh Allen. 5 touchdowns, incredible. DK Metcalf, his first good game of the season, 100 plus yards, 6 catches, a touchdown. Love to see that. Love DK. Old decaf Metcalf. Thielen still having a good game. 17 points here, another touchdown. He
He's
scored so
such a
many
red zone
touchdowns.
hog.
Yeah,
It's
he's got 4
ridiculous.
touchdowns so far this season. So I expect that to regress to the mean, but so far so good.
Honestly, I don't.
No,
Last year he kept doing it. I don't see why not.
yeah, I guess it's possible. We'll see. Nick Chubb, 84 rushing yards. Boom. That sucks. That's almost 100
Yep.
yards, and he only gets 8.4 points. That's what sucks about the running backs who don't catch the ball. Like he got 84 yards, no catches, nothing, no touchdowns. Boom, 8.4 points.
Yep.
So that sucks. You know, to put it in perspective, David Montgomery, right below Nick Chubb here, scored less than a point less, but only had 34 rushing yards, and 21 receiving. But like those 2 catches, just was almost enough to make Montgomery worth more than Chubb here.
Yep.
Noah Fart here, 2 for 15.
No far.
Disappointing game from him. But again, didn't really need any of the pass catchers, so it is what it is. Hollywood, we already talked about this bum. He should have had over 100 yards. He should have had at least 2 touchdowns. He should have put up 20 plus points.
You know, that would have been really close if for Scott to win if Marquise didn't drop those.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like that would have been. I mean, it was only 20-point spread here. Oops.
That's 14 points with the catch and 2 touchdowns plus
Mhm.
the yards. See, Scott probably would have won this week if Marquise
Yep.
didn't be a bum.
All the more reason to be upset about Hollywood being an idiot. Claypool had a great game here. 9 catches for almost 100 yards. No touchdowns, but somebody had to catch the ball besides Najee, and it was Claypool. Nobody really of note on the bench, so let's move on. Bateman on his IR, just of note because Bateman is practicing this week. Did you see that?
They did.
I think that's good. I mean, I think
Need
it's going
him.
to take a few weeks for him to like kind of be worth anything. I don't even mean for fantasy. I just mean for like NFL purposes. I don't think he's going to make a big impact for the Ravens for a while, just because I think he only had like a week to practice with Lamar right before he got hurt. Because like Lamar was coming back from
So like a week or two,
COVID,
yeah.
and then like Bateman got hurt, so there was like a small window in which they were both there and healthy. Um, so they really have zero chemistry whatsoever so far. So it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated. But a week or two of practice, hopefully he. I think he can play week 4. No, well that would be next week. Yeah, week 4 is next week.
Yeah. He was out the first 3.
Yeah, so he could be in that game. I don't expect him to be out on the field a ton, but it's promising. It's good. We need another guy out there. All right, let's
Yep,
talk about is it you? Yeah, you and Shannon. Boy, this was a close game, huh?
it
You
was.
guys had the closest game by far, 144 to 152. Shannon just kind of eked out the win there. Why don't you tell us about your game here? I think the elephant in the
My side
closet
or her
or elephant in
side?
the room is AJ Brown. Man, if AJ Brown finishes this game, even if he just catches a few passes, like you win this game.
Yeah. What was funny is that, you know, I was winning and she had Dak left. And it's like, all right, Dak, I need you to get 20 something points. And it was looking good because he fumbled very early on. I was like, all right, perfect.
Yeah,
You can throw 1 touchdown, maybe 2. That's it. Don't hit 300 yards. Of course, it was like the end of the game. No, like third quarter something. He throws a touchdown to the tight end. And it's like, damn, I just lost.
uh,
So frustrating. It's only because of
yeah,
AJ Brown had to
yep,
be a bum.
yep,
And
yep. If he had not gotten hurt in this game, I think you would have won it. Because Dak Prescott really, when you think about it, didn't have a great game. 26
nope.
points, like that's okay, that's fine. Again, you're not upset about that. But for Dak, he can do better. He only threw for 238 yards. It was the Zeke we talked about earlier. It was Zeke and Pollard in this game. Herbert had a phenomenal game for you, though. I mean, how about that? For
Loved it.
4 touchdowns, he ran in a 2-point conversion, almost 300 yards. Yeah, and they beat Kansas City, which you love to see. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I like Mahomes, but it's always nice seeing kind of the Golden Boys get knocked off a little bit. Um,
always.
so AJ Brown's stat line is 3 rushing yards.
He had like 2
Um,
targets, so it's not like he wasn't visible. But
yeah,
Tannehill,
he had 8 and 9 targets weeks 1 and 2, so it's not like
yeah,
this guy has been out there doing nothing. He's had some drops, and Tannehill hasn't looked great, and now he's hurt, and now he's week to week, which sucks.
yeah,
Um, I'm actually trying to trade him away in the RAS league because I have him in that league. You have him in this league. I have him in the RAS league. Do we have him in our shared league?
no.
No. Okay, we don't have him there. All right. I don't know. I wasn't really high on AJ Brown coming into the season. I just took him because I felt like I needed to. I just don't. I don't know. I'd rather have like for the same kind of tier. I'd rather have Calvin Ridley or DK Metcalf over AJ Brown.
Oh, for sure. But
Um,
if his production when he had 2 trash knees, like I can only imagine what he would do when it's like surgically repaired and he, rehab for months,
yeah,
and then
that's fair.
now it's hamstring,
I mean, he's
which is
talented. He's super
yeah,
talented. Like, there's no question about that. It's just kind of like they're a run first team, right, with Derrick Henry.
yeah,
So, Terry McLaurin, kind of a disappointing game from him.
yep.
Still 7
It just
targets, but
wasn't Heineke's day. It's a tough defense.
yeah, exactly. They had a tough matchup for sure. So, can't be too upset. Still double digits there. Gaskin 10 points. Okay, you know, again
Yeah,
they were in
but
a negative game script. So,
yeah,
Cordell Patterson had a good game. How about that? 16
he
points.
did.
Yeah, only
I
7
love
rushes.
that.
How many catches did he have? Oh, okay. He had six catches for 82
Me
yards.
too.
Wow.
Yeah,
So he had 100 yards in this game. All right.
that's why I picked him up.
Yeah,
Dalvin
nice.
Cook out. Had to.
Yep, good
It
stuff. That was
worked.
a good play. Jared Cook. Okay. Again, he's one of those guys. He'll have a touchdown some weeks and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, you'll be at 5 points. Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup continues to ball out.
Love it. Oh
Another
my
two
god.
touchdowns. How many touchdowns does he have on the season? He's at 5 touchdowns in 3 games. It's wild.
Yep.
100 yards here, 9 catches, 12 targets. Stafford loves him.
Just
You
looks
know,
so good.
do you think it's because they have breakfast every morning together? Have you heard that?
No, is
Good.
that a meme?
No, Matt Stafford and Cooper Cup. They've been having breakfast like every morning together. They
I
just like talk football and stuff.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care what they got. I don't care if they got to kiss each other. Just ball out on the field and give me my points.
Yeah, just open the broom closet at the training facility and they're just in there making out. Um,
Whatever works, man. I don't judge. No one will
uh,
at this point if you own one of them.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have Cooper Cup, you don't care what he's doing to get those points. Marvin Jones with 6 catches, 62 yards. We talked about these guys earlier.
Yep.
Arizona, how about that, man? Wow,
21.
yeah, defensive
Yep.
touchdown, 2 fumbles recovered, 2 interceptions. That's great, awesome. You love 21 points from your defense.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Kate would know
And something
about that maybe 2
right,
years ago
right. New England Patriots,
or
Kate.
last year, something like that.
2 years ago, I think. Year
I
one.
think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. And then
Um,
no one on my bench.
yeah, you made
That's
all the
what
right
I did.
starts here, right? Because like your
Yep.
bench has no points on it, so you made all the right
Garbage.
calls. You have good people on your bench, like Damian Harris. He
Yeah.
just had a bad matchup. You benched him. That was a good call. Dalvin Cook obviously was hurt. Darnell Mooney, I think, is a good hold. I think going
Sorry.
forward, he'll,
Yeah.
if Justin Fields can be not garbage, then he'll be better. All right, let's talk about Shannon's side here. We talked about Dak a little bit. Devontae Adams, he did what
Oh my
Devontae Adams
God.
does, right? 132 yards, touchdown, 12 catches. How many targets? Let's just see for fun. 18 targets. Holy cow.
Yep.
Holy moly, Devontae Adams. Okay, well, they won this game. Actually, 34 points kind of seems low, doesn't it? Right? When you're talking about Devontae Adams, you're talking about 18 targets. Like that kind of seems like.
Well, here's the problem, right? I have two things. One, this dude should not have been on that field. Did you watch that? Did you watch the
Oh
game or did you
yeah,
see the video?
I saw the
Absolutely
clip of him getting nailed.
stupid.
And he like looked like he had passed out on the field. It looked bad.
Yeah.
And
There's
apparently
no,
he said after like it just like got the wind knocked out of him. He said it was like he was having trouble breathing. It looked like he took a shot to the head though.
yeah.
But
I don't know. That looked like a concussion for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, they cleared him through the protocol like just rushed him
Well,
through.
he was out like the next two plays or
Yeah,
something, which
he was good to go, and he continued to just go crazy. So I guess we'll see.
and here's the
Christian
second
Kirk had a good
thing.
game too.
Oh,
7 catches for 100 yards. How about that? Good start there, Shannon. Christian Kirk.
yeah.
Oh, lucky too.
If
I mean,
Hopkins injured, you knew he would
yeah, that's true.
get
You
more
knew somebody else
targets.
had to be there, and Christian Kirk and AJ Green were the guys this week.
Yeah.
Eckler, solid game there. Six
Yep.
catches, receiving touchdown. I don't know how many receiving yards, but I think he probably had about 100 yards in this game total. Mike Davis had an okay game, 4 catches, some boosted him up a little bit. Mark Andrews finally had a game here.
Yep.
Um, he actually looked pretty good catching the ball. He only had like maybe one drop in this game. Looked a lot better than Hollywood, that's for sure. Um, Debo came down to earth a little bit here, 10 points. He still had 10 targets, though, so that's great. It was a Kittle day we talked about. Fournette, Pittsburgh, Logan Thomas on his bench, or her bench, sorry, 12 points. So Kirk Cousins had a pretty good game, but you don't start Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott probably
No.
ever. So okay, let's talk about. Are we down on my game?
Yep.
Okay, our game, it was me and JT. Another low-scoring game. My guy's kind of disappointed this week too. Tannehill finally had a bounce-back week. Only 200 passing yards, which is scary, but rushed for 56 and threw for 3 touchdowns, so he kind of redeemed himself there.
Yep.
Tyler Lockett, disappointing game. Only 4 catches, 31 yards. It was a decaf Metcalf show. CeeDee Lamb, we talked about this. They didn't really need Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb in this game. I think CeeDee Lamb started the game with like a 44-yard catch, and I was like, hell yeah. And that was
Yep.
like everything from CeeDee Lamb for the night. So, it was Zeke and Pollard. Jonathan Taylor is just kind of like the Colts just look really bad, and they keep getting in negative game scripts. And even when Taylor looks really good out there, he's got like solid yards per carry every game, but they're just not using him. So
Nope.
I'm a little worried there, but he'll have good games. I just have a feeling I'm going to have to weather a lot of these low scoring games. Antonio Gibson here, great
Mm.
great final score, but it was what you told me it was he had one 73-yard touchdown catch.
Yep. It was a screen pass.
So you
Yep.
figure that's 8.3 plus 6. What is that? 14.3 points. So 14.3 points of his total points in this game came from a single catch. Don't
Yep.
like that. I do not like that, but I'll take the 17 points.
I mean,
TJ
next week
Hawkinson.
he versus Atlanta, so he should.
Yes, should
That should
finally
be a bounce
be.
back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some okay matchups coming up, but he's also got some really crappy matchups later. Ugh. Okay,
Yeah.
Hawkinson here, you know, 2 for 10. Okay.
Surprising.
Yeah, I'm surprised, especially after like Waller and Kels had feasted on the Ravens for the first 2 weeks. I thought Hawkinson would be more important, but it was that one dude, like Khalif Raymond. Like
Yep. He was on the Titans last year. I'm pretty
he
sure.
he accounted for like 90% of the Titans, not the Titans, the Lions' air yards in this game, which is like just insane.
Yeah.
Um, but it is what it is. Outlier week. DeAndre Swift, man, DeAndre Swift is looking like the value of the draft. Got him in the sixth
You get
round.
sixth round.
Yeah, sixth
Yeah.
round. He's currently sitting, I think, at RB3 on the season, behind McCaffrey and I'm not sure who number 2 is, but Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry's number 1.
Oh yeah, he should definitely be
Yeah.
one.
So happy with DeAndre Swift. Michael Pittman had an okay game. Tons of targets. He's starting to be pretty relevant here. 12 targets the past 2 weeks. I like that volume. Hoping for better things from him. Denver defense did pretty well for me. On my bench, didn't really leave a whole lot. Boyd, Ruggs, Michelle all had okay games. Nothing of note there. All right, let's talk about JT's team here. This game actually got kind of close. Starting to sweat a little bit last night. I went into that Monday night game. I was up 35, and I had CD versus his Zeke, and I'm like, okay, that should be easy enough. I figured Zeke and CD would probably like stay on pace with each other, and I
Yeah.
already had a 35-point lead. Well, then CD did like nothing, and then Zeke was balling. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose this game. Monday night after a 35-point lead. Didn't end up being the case. Still had about a 20-point advantage at the end of the night. But Stafford had a great game, 4 touchdowns. Man, he's looking phenomenal. It's really cool. I haven't seen a whole lot of their gameplay, but like it's just nice to know that Stafford's doing really well playing for a good
Is he
team.
QB1 right now? Or is it Brady?
Um, it's him, Brady, or Kyler probably. I think I saw the three of them are in the running for MVP already. I mean, it's early, but
Yeah.
um, all three of them are looking great. And they beat Tom Brady in this game, so good for you,
Yep.
Matt Stafford. Allen Robinson, kind of, you can't blame him too much because Justin Fields looked terrible in this game. But Allen Robinson has had 9 points, 10 points, and 5 points on the season. So he was a
Yep.
third round draft pick, fourth round draft pick. So not happy with that. Calvin Ridley, 8 for 61. Okay, probably not super stoked about that either. Ridley's definitely been a little disappointing so far to start the season.
Yeah.
Um, Zeke, his best game of the season, 2 touchdowns, a ton of yards, just all over the place. He looked really good. He looked, some people were worried he was washed. I do not think Zeke is washed. He looks great. Javonte Williams, we talked about this. The Denver rushing
Yep.
attack was pretty good this week. They were critical to the success of Denver in their blowout of the Jets. Cole Kmet, okay, not worth talking about there. Bobby Trees, man,
Yep.
poor Bobby. Sucks. Like he's basically irrelevant in this offense right now.
I think if Cup eats breakfast with him, Bobby needs to like buy Stafford dinner or something. Something has to happen.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that sounds right. That makes some sense. That's what they should do. Yeah, he needs to do something because otherwise he's like just terrible. Sterling Shepard got hurt in this game, which is disappointing because he had been pretty good up till this week. Um,
He's fantastic
yeah, he's
for
been
if
great.
you get him.
Yep, he's basically free at the end of the draft, so um, you know, sucks for Sterling for sure. Naeem Hines put up 19 points on JT's bench. Um, you know,
Kept catching it. Yep.
yep, he had a bunch of receptions here, 5 catches here, 54 yards and a touchdown. Um, so that was our final matchup there. We already went through the leaderboards, so we don't need to do that again. I guess let's just blow through the previews for next week. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Who's first?
Let's start with Ashley and JT. All right. Well,
Well,
JT's team is looking a little rough these days. So and
yeah,
Ashley's currently like the number 2 scorer, just only slightly out of first place.
she's projected for 100 and almost 55 points. That is
Yeah.
disgusting.
I'm gonna trust the projections on this one. I don't think JT's really got anybody on his bench he can start that's gonna kind of save him. If Daryl Henderson plays, he can sub him in for Javonte Williams probably, or Sterling Shepard, or Sterling Shepard's hurt.
JT, you need to waiver wire a tight end for sure.
Yeah, Cole Kmet's not. He had an okay week 1, but you know.
Well, Justin Fields looks horrendous. So
Did you see that Justin Fields had like a net 1 yard in that game? Like he passed for 68 yards, but he got sacked for 67. So he lost 67 and gained 68 through the air. So he had
wow,
1 net yard.
he got sacked like
Um,
9 times, right?
Yeah,
Was that a different
something.
quarterback?
I don't know. It was probably him as many times as he got sacked. Does it tell me? I think Sleeper
don't-
tells you how many times somebody got sacked, but yeah, it doesn't tell
There
me.
was the quarterback this week that got sacked 9 times. It might have been him.
Wow. Yeah, that sucks.
That's-
I don't even think it's worth going through their players here. I think Ashley's going
Nope,
to win this game
Ashley's.
hands down.
Sorry,
I mean,
JT.
yeah, sorry, JT. Her team's just been like everybody on her team's just been crushing it, and Hopkins will probably be healthy this week. Like Tom Brady against New England, he could go back there and just light them up just for fun. So nothing more said about that. Congratulations, Ashley. I'm sorry, JT. 0-4. You can still come back from that. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about.
Hingle McPringle.
Yep, Henry and Melissa. All right, here. What's going on with Henry's projections? Oh, McCaffrey. That's right. Who's he's gonna sub in for McCaffrey?
Kareem.
Yeah. Okay, Cream. All right.
Oh wait, Kareem or Hubbard or Chuba?
I would.
Oh wait, I would. But
Mm,
Devon, send me a throw out. Mm,
I lean Hubbard here.
yeah, I think he gets more work.
Yeah, I think the volume's going to be there. We know Kareem Hunt's up and down. Where I think just you're chasing the volume for Hubbard, and the play's a little bit better. Dallas defense is not as good as Minnesota. Just they're similar, but I think Minnesota's defense is a little bit better. Henry has had 2 empty bench slots, I think, like all season.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Just throw
That's
anybody in there.
yeah,
Just throw some of those turds we were talking about in there.
hurting
Like,
himself.
yeah, honestly, just anybody. Bench warmers are fine. So I'll put in one of those guys, Hunt or Hubbard. Okay,
She has Josh Jacobs in her lineup. I don't like that.
yeah. If he plays, then
I mean, you
if he's
have
in, yeah,
to.
you got to play him. If he doesn't play, she doesn't have a pivot.
She has to waiver wire
She'd
somebody.
have to waiver wire, or I don't even know who this guy is. She has for Cleveland. What is this guy's name? Never
That's
heard of
the
this before.
yeah.
Demetric Felton. Okay.
He's listed as a receiver and a running back. I don't know. I don't know how you can like officially declare that,
Yeah, I don't either. That's
but
weird.
I
Huh.
wouldn't even sub him in because he's the third string.
Right. So it's like Ronald Jones or him or somebody off the waiver wire because she
I
doesn't
would waiver
have.
wire
Yeah, but like God, who's? Yeah, she's probably got to find somebody else.
YOLO.
Yeah, you do have to kind of YOLO.
I still like her team more.
Yeah, her starters are still pretty good. I mean, Najee against Green Bay should be pretty good. Sutton, Tyreek, Pitts, Chase. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Melissa here. Follow the projections. I think she's got it. I think Henry not having McCaffrey is going to hurt him for sure.
A lot.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the next game, which is
Scott and Chris.
yeah. For me, it's you and Jimmy. Let's talk you and Jimmy real quick.
Okay.
Once it loads for me.
I was not happy learning I'm facing the 3-0 dude
I
this
know.
early.
Freaking Jimmy. Wow, look at your projections.
Yeah.
Close as hell. All right, well let's talk more about this then. Lamar against Denver. I expect better things this week. Justin Jefferson against Cleveland should be fine. I think Kirk Cousins is going to pass for a ton of yards. Um, Julio Jones against the Jets, if he plays, should be fine. Derrick Henry against the Jets. I think
I hope
Derrick
not.
Henry against the
Don't
Jets
say
is
it.
gonna
Don't say that.
be like
Mm-mm.
he's just gonna have his way
If
with
him
that
and
team.
Cooper Cup want to cancel out, I'm okay with that. Let's 50 points each. I'm okay. Just cancel.
Cooper Cup against Arizona, yeah, that's a pretty good matchup. AJ Brown probably not in this week, so who you putting in?
I don't know.
You pivot
I
into
might.
like Damian Harris. I mean, against Tampa Bay, you almost can't though, right?
Well, no. I'm gonna see what I can do on waiver wires.
Okay,
I got some people I'm looking at,
all right,
so
yeah,
we'll
because I was
see.
gonna say, I mean, otherwise Mooney, I wouldn't. I see. I don't think you can play Mooney until
No.
that quarterback situation sorts itself out. That pretty much just leaves Cordero Patterson, and he
Oh,
was a
I can
good
always
play
put
for you
like
this week.
I could put like Marvin Jones up there and then
Yeah,
waiver wire somebody as
yeah,
flex.
yeah.
It's
You could put
what I would do.
anybody. You could start a receiver or running back. I'm just looking at your bench. I would say Cordero Patterson's probably your best play of just who you have right now.
Yeah.
Jimmy's got Sammy Watkins in his lineup. I'd probably get Odell in there. Um, yeah, I think I got to hand it to Jimmy on this one. I think it'll be close, but I think Derrick Henry's going to feast, unfortunately. Um, he's got Mike Williams, who's been going crazy. Darren Waller could finally come back. Like Justin Jefferson, Lamar. Henry just had, or not Henry. Jimmy just has a really like high upside team. Like a lot of these guys can put up monster points. All of
Yeah.
them. I mean, Jefferson, Jackson, Waller, Mike Williams, Derrick Henry. Like those are some of like the biggest boom players that you could possibly
Yeah.
have right now. So, and you with a banged up Dalvin Cook who should play this week, and with AJ Brown who's not going to play this week. Terry should have a good game against Atlanta. I think your guys are going to have a good game. I just think Jimmy's players are going to have a great game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we shall see. All right, let's move on. Talk about. For me, it's oops, looking at last week here. Scott and Chris. Scott's Eagles and only makes boys. I want to ask him one time why he's Scott's Eagles as like a hardcore Ravens fan. Like I know he likes the Eagles, but why not Scott's Ravens? You know,
Eagles sounds better.
I guess so.
Just between the two, I don't know either why it's Eagles. He'll watch us and he'll text us
Yes,
why.
yes, yes, yes. So let us know your name and why the Eagles. Um, okay, let's see
Did
here.
Chris ever text you why his name's only
No,
makes
I have a
boys?
feeling he
No,
probably doesn't watch.
probably
Um,
not. That's okay.
let's see here. Who are you giving it to? I'll let you pick.
Scott.
Yeah, me too. Chris has had pretty bad luck so far. He's 0-3. He's got some decent matchups. Chark against Cincy, Mix against Jax, Ayuk against Seattle, Mahomes against Philly. Like, Chris has a lot of good matchups this week. I just think his
I
players
think
have very low floor.
I think he should definitely switch out Knox for Tonian, and I think he should put in Tim Patrick instead of Rondale Moore.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um,
I'd rather have Tim Patrick with Teddy Bridgewater than Moore against the Rams.
even Tim Patrick against Baltimore.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't. Yeah, I still would.
Okay. Yeah, I think
KJ Hamler's. I think didn't he tear his ACL?
yeah, he's done for the season.
Yeah, and Judy's
Um,
on IR, so
mhm.
someone needs to catch the
That's
ball.
fair. That's a good point. Okay, yeah, definitely still going to give it to Scott here. Chubb against Minnesota, Thielen against Cleveland, Metcalf against San Fran. Those are fine. Allen against Houston, he's going to go crazy. Claypool with Deontay and Juju banged up, I think Claypool could have a great game against Green Bay, as long as he's not shattered by what's that guy's name,
So
Jair Alexander. So, uh, yeah, definitely give it to Scott here on this one. I think Chris is going to struggle for a fourth week, unfortunately. So, okay, let's talk about Kate and Shannon. The 2-1 face 2-1, fourth place versus fifth place in this game here. Um, let's see. Just looking to see if there's any other lineup decisions I would make.
would you put Antonio Brown instead of Fournette?
Yeah, if Antonio Brown's back, I would play him. Um, definitely, definitely, I would play Antonio Brown over Fournette.
If T Higgins plays, you playing him or Antonio Brown?
T Higgins.
What,
Yeah,
what's he dealing with? It's a shoulder.
I think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much about whether he's going to play for Week 4 or not, but I would definitely play T Higgins above the other two. Um,
And then Kate's
Cade's got
team.
Juju, who's banged up. Juju's probably gonna play.
And who does
Uh,
If Juju does, then who does she? Ooh. She would have to put Galladay in and then flex
Galladay is in.
Goddard.
Oof.
I'm saying if Juju doesn't play, Galladay or Waddle, whoever goes up there, and then I guess either you're flexing
Goddard or
Goddard.
Pascal. Yeah. I'm just gonna say I hope Juju plays for her sake, because otherwise she's gonna be in rough shape. I think. Yeah, I'm
On
gonna give this one to Shannon. I think Devontae, Prescott, Eckler, Andrews, Debo. Like she just has some players that I think have very high ceilings.
yeah,
Um, Russell Wilson and Amari sure are great. Saquon against
that's
New Orleans, I don't love that matchup.
rough.
Singletary, we talk about. I mean, the fact that he had two double-digit weeks back to back is like mind blowing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce will get the 26 points he's projected for, no question there. Waddle's been good. Galladay, 15 points. I don't know if he's hit that mark yet. Again,
if Shepard
tough
doesn't play, he
defense.
probably will.
He might, but um, even with Shepard out part of last game, he still didn't get to that point. He only had 5 targets, so I don't know. It's a tough defense, New Orleans. So Galladay and
Yeah,
Barkley could both
I
struggle.
still lean Shannon, but every time we
Yeah,
do this against Cade, she ends up winning. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna keep my
Congratulations,
mouth shut
Kate,
this
on your
time.
win this week because we both picked against you.
Both weeks.
Yes. Okay, so I think that just leaves me and Justin.
You were right. He did definitely clean out his team. He has no defense and 4
Yeah,
empty bench spots.
yeah. I was looking at my phone, I was like, holy crap! Look at all these notifications. Um, all right, Lockett. I'm hoping for better things for tough matchup there. CeeDee Lamb against Carolina is kind of a tough matchup. Antonio Gibson, I need something from. I need something from Taylor. Who's on my bench? If Deontay plays, I'll sub him in for Pittman, but otherwise, I'm actually okay with Pittman. Or I could play Boyd as well over Pittman if Higgins is out, which I would definitely consider. Um, Otherwise, I think my lineup would pretty much stay as is. Looking at Justin's lineup here, Diggs has been disappointing. Evans has been pretty solid for 2 weeks now. Aaron Jones against Pittsburgh, that's a tough matchup there. Um, I don't know how good of a game Aaron Jones is going to be able to have. Miles Sanders, if they use him like they did last week, then he's basically non-existent. So
Yep.
Gronk's banged up, but he'll probably play. Devontae Parker and Emmanuel Sanders could be, could do nothing, could have good games. I'm not too scared about them. So,
Your
uh,
team's upside's way higher.
yeah, for that reason, I leave my team. I
Yeah.
think he's got a decent team. It's just, I think my guys, some of the matchups I have this week, I think are promising. Um,
Yeah.
so okay, all right. I
I
think
guess
that's
for
it.
fun, real quick, who do you project to be the highest scorer this
Ooh,
week?
that's fun. All right, let me go
Are we
back and
saying
look.
Ashley still?
Let's see. Is she
Because Ashley,
projected for the most? Yeah, she's projected
oh,
for the most, isn't she?
150. Actually, she just
Wow,
went up.
that's crazy. Yeah, I will. I'll give it to her. I do think Jimmy is a close contender for second, though. Wow, look at who's projected for second most points. Look at that. Do you see that? Who is it,
Uh,
Chad?
it's
Who is it?
Kate.
Yep.
Oh Lord, I just turned to my right. I just see your face right next to the camera. How is
Yeah.
that possible? How with Singletary? How is Singletary projected for 12 points?
I
This
don't
dude just
know. I don't
he just
know.
got 3.
He's a walking turd. I don't get it.
Oh, you know what? They don't. I don't think they care about the games previous. They just
Nah, they
do for
don't.
each
They just project. They're just
matchup.
people doing the
Yeah.
projections. They just stat them out, and they're just it is what it is. Um,
Good
yeah.
Ashley. And then who you think's the lowest?
Oh God. Hate to pick on JT, but
Yeah,
his
that's what
team's
this.
struggling the most. Him and Chris.
Not to pick on the people, obviously. It's just
Yeah. So I definitely go JT. I think he's probably lowest. Ashley is potential. Ashley or Jimmy, just because Jimmy's got that matchup with Derrick Henry against who are they playing again? I already forgot who the Titans are playing. Whoever,
Jets.
yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, Derrick Henry could put up another 50-point game. So, um, you know, one of those two. I think they're going to continue to build their lead as the point leaders in the league.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be Kate. So again, Kate, congratulations on your week 4 high score. Might as well pay
Congrats.
you the $5 now. Um, but yeah, okay, that was good. That was good. We should do that every week.
Yep.
Just
Just for
pick
fun.
who we think will be the high scorer. So okay, all right. Well, anything else to add, Chad?
We did this under an hour.
Yeah, how about
Well,
that?
2 minutes under.
Just shy,
Minute and a half.
just
Something like
shy.
that.
Excellent. All right, very good. All right, everybody. Well, good luck this week. We'll be back next week
Good luck.
for week 4 recap. Man, moving into week 4. Crazy,
So
crazy,
fast.
crazy. All right, y'all. Peace.